So this week we are back in the now familiar territory of Super Scope shooters, with a game that uses the letter X in a way that so many things did in the early 90s. So, we'll have to ask, is X going to give it to you? Playing XZone makes me realise the laziness that many developers displayed when creating games for the Super Scope peripheral. Sure, there is certainly the tried and tested template that arcade shooters like Operation Wolf did so well, but you'd hope for a game like XZone to break the mould somewhat. The very first level of the game brings hope, a Mode 7 laden descent to the ground as enemies swarm you with a torrent of missiles. It lulls you into a sense of excitement at a game that might possibly be a little different. And then you reach the second level and your expectations are immediately dashed as you're back to the same left to right scrolling levels that pretty much every Super Scope game has. First impressions are everything, but count for nothing when they're deceitful, as XZone shows. A computerised defence system gone wild is your ultimate antagonist, and it's brought all of its robots and drones to play. Luckily, you just happen to be a lone soldier inside some sort of flying assault suit, and trashing androids just happens to be your bag. Don't expect much of a narrative here. XZone is very reminiscent of Bazooka Blitzkrieg. It plays practically the same and also features an endless array of the same enemies thrown at you over and over again. But while Bazooka Blitzkrieg tried to shake things up a little with some interesting bosses and the occasional power-up, XZone is just so incredibly lazy. It's as bare bones as you can get from a lightgun shooter. But XZone's biggest failing is its difficulty. I'm led to believe that this is a very short game, with only 4 levels split into 2 areas. I'm not entirely sure if that is true or not, because this is one of those games that is just incredibly difficult for all the wrong reasons. If it's not the endless barrage of enemies and missiles filling the screen, it's the reliance on enemies with machine guns that completely sap your energy. Plus, every enemy takes way too many bullets to kill. And that's even on easy mode. I started off playing on normal difficulty and made my way to the second area of the second stage before coming up short. You have an energy bar but no lives. Once you lose your health you have a limited number of continues, but you'll end up right back at the start of the first area of your current stage. And with some really tough bosses, it's really hard to start the next level with enough health to survive. On easy difficulty I did fare better, reaching the second area of the third stage before failing miserably, but the difficulty problems are still there. There are a few things that are more frustrating than enemies that can damage you constantly from anywhere on the screen who don't stop taking your health away even when you're firing at them. Then there's the sheer number of missiles that fly towards you at any given time that need to be shot down before they damage you. It is impossible to avoid damage, as you're expected to engage in some superhuman plate spinning of firing at incoming missiles, destroying the enemies that are launching them, and killing off the enemies that are machine gunning you to death. It is an impossible task, ensuring that only the patient will ever have a hope to finish this game. That first level is pretty cool, promising something different from a lightgun shooter. Unfortunately, that promise is never delivered upon. Too shallow to be engaging, too difficult to be fun. XZone is just not a fun lightgun game, and the only reason it has any sort of longevity is that it's so damn hard. You'd be better off playing Bazooka Blitzkrieg, to be honest. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this and want more, you can click this icon to subscribe, this icon to support me financially via Patreon, or these icons to watch more videos from my channel. Why not take a few seconds to answer the question of the week in the comments, or just let me know what you thought of this video. See you next week.